Hello and welcome to our presentation, Music's Effect on Memory. We are Group 5 from Experimental Psych Lab Section, Spring Class of 2021. Our group consists of Cristina Salazar, Isabela Pereira, Lindsay Bracey, and Miguel Rodriguez. We will talk about our experiment and research on the effects of music on our memory. People who speak a language should be interested in this experiment, especially if you know more than one language, because we are testing if listening to a specific language will make your short-term memory more reliable. The main concepts of this research are language and short-term memory, also whether a specific language will make someone's short-term memory more reliable. Some of our key terms are fluent, intermediate, basic, and non-speaker. A past study that motivated research was from Alan Badley. Badley's research found that there is a difference between remembering words, even if words have the same amount of syllables or similar length. It depends on words whether words with longer duration versus shorter duration, and words with longer duration tend to be harder to remember. Badley's results are interpreted in terms of phonemically based of limited temporal capacity. Something that we replicated similar to his study was to have words that had short and longer duration. After editing and rewriting and revisiting our broad question, we came up with, does listening to music in different languages affect our short-term memory? Which eventually led us to having a more specific question, which narrowed down to this. Does knowing another language increase the reliability of people's short-term memory while being exposed to a song of their native language compared to a song of a foreign language? With our hypothesized findings, we expect to find a correlation between comfortability in speaking Spanish while listening to a Spanish song and remembering different words.
We expect to find the main effect on the amount of words remembered with how comfortable someone is speaking in Spanish. This is thought since Badley and Hitch in 1974 came to a conclusion that there is an implication for native and non-native speakers. We also expect for people to memorize more with the English song rather than the Spanish song. In the chart, it is seen in the dark blue that for the English song, people would score more than 5 words than with the Spanish song. That is because it can be a distraction for people to remember what is being presented to them when listening to something that was never heard by them before. Combining both ideas together, we expect for there to be a correlation with comfortability in speaking Spanish and on the genre of music.
In total, we had 95 participants for our study. The age of our participants ranged between 21 and younger to 58 and older. 60% of the participants were female, 36.8% were male, 1.1% were non-binary, and 2.1% of the participants preferred not to state their gender. The participants were recruited virtually. Each member of our group sent the participants a link to the survey where they were able to complete it on an electronic device such as a phone or a computer. And in order to create our survey, our group used electronic devices to use Google Forms. We used Google Forms to create both multiple choice and short answer questions. The survey was presented in 7 sections with both multiple choice and short answers in each section. Our study was a between subjects design. We had 2 independent variables. The first independent variable was whether or not you were a Spanish speaker. The first level was yes, and the second was no. Our second independent variable was the genre of music. The first level was Spanish music, and the second level was English music. Our dependent variable was how many words a participant remembered. During the survey, the participants had to answer demographic questions, which included questions about their race, age, and gender. They then had to answer a question about how comfortable they felt speaking Spanish on a scale of 1 to 5. 1 was being not comfortable at all, and 5 being fluent in Spanish. After this, participants had to answer a question about the time on their clock. This is how they were randomly assigned to the task. If their time was odd, the participants were assigned to a Spanish song. If their time was even, they were assigned to an English song. Each participant had to listen to the song while trying to memorize the list of words on the screen. After the video was over, participants were instructed to close their browser and type out the words that they remembered without referring back to the video.
The main effect on independent variable 1. There was not a significant main effect of comfortability of speaking Spanish on how many words remembered. F1 equals F0.399. P-value is greater than 0.05. There is no differences between level 1 and English music. For level 1, the mean was 6.74. For English music, the mean was 6.29. This is stated below in the chart. The main effect on independent variable 2. There was not a significant main effect of genre of music on how many words remembered. F1 equals F1.411. P equals 0.239. There were no differences between Spanish music and English music. For Spanish music, the mean was 6.84. And for English music, the mean was M equals 6.20. That is stated below. The interaction. There was not a significant interaction between comfortability of speaking Spanish and genre of music on how many words remembered. F1 equals F3.285. P equals 0.075. The mean how many words remembered for the Spanish music group was not significantly different than the English music group for level 1. The how many words remembered for the Spanish music group was not significantly different than the English music group for level 2. This is stated below in the chart.
Comparing our predicted results and the actual results, our results were partially true. We predicted that people would better remember more words in English music than those who listen to Spanish music. One factor could have been as to how comfortable the participant was in speaking Spanish, since there were a couple of people who were not comfortable enough to speak Spanish. People who were comfortable enough to speak Spanish did perform the same as those who were not comfortable enough to do so. That goes to show that memory is not affected if one knows more than one language. I believe our findings to be true since music has been used in the past to test how well people can remember things. One main flaw could have been that people had the video open when asked to type what they had remembered from the list. Another flaw could have been that not many people may have listened to the audio while looking at the words. There are so many future studies that can come from this. One of them being where there could be a list that are from the same category. One thing that I noticed that there were a couple of people who wrote a word that was not from the list.